Hey guys, and welcome to week 2 of the Alicia Noel Photography Dog Photo Challenge and mini course. I hope you had a lot of fun last week. I know I did, making these videos for you guys. Hope you picked a nice day, got some vitamin D with your dog, spent some time outside. Yeah, it was really cool to see all of your pictures, and I'm just so thankful for you guys to participate in this with me, so thank you very much. So, week 2, also I hope you're really excited for the prize this week. They're going to keep getting better, so next week's is going to be even better. I know you just saw it in the beginning of this video, so I'm really excited. I love giving away stuff like this, it makes me really happy, because I just want people to have pictures of their dogs, and I want to be able to help people do that, so yeah, I'm really excited. Okay, so we are going to go over the basic supplies that you need. I know I went over it last week, but I'm going to repeat it this week just in case. And so again, small treats. If you can look at the video from last week, but I mentioned some treats that are healthy, but I do always advise to do real food. So you can do pieces of shredded chicken, cut up cheese sticks, cut up pieces of like baby carrots, green beans. Again, you just want to make sure that they're small pieces because you're going to be giving a lot, and you don't want an overweight dog is an unhealthy dog. So if you do give more treats during these photo shoots than you normally do, maybe give them a little less food for their meals, kind of supplement it, because again, you do not want your dog to be overweight. Then you are going to want noisemakers. So again, this is a rabbit call for hunting. You do not need to buy one of them, but I have it for myself for when I do professional photo shoots. But this is super simple, comes out from a squeaker, which you probably have already in your house, or go to the dollar store, get a plush toy, they have all these squeakers in it. Remove the squeaker, it's usually a circle. There's it's usually this little thing sticking out from your squeaker. You just pop it off and it's super simple. So it can fit in your mouth. That's the calls are a little bit more cumbersome. So this is nice, it fits in your mouth, you don't have to hold it and fiddle around with it. So have that with you. You can make noises with your mouth too. If you want a refresher, you can watch last week. Make sure your dog is leashed up, so either with a harness or a collar. Safety first always. You may need a helper, but probably not for this. It's going to be the same as last week. And also make sure to run your dog beforehand. Let them sniff around, get some energy out. It will help you a lot, and it'll let the dog just be a dog in the beginning. Let them enjoy themselves and get nice and tired before you try to take a picture. So yeah, and that is it. And this week we are going to talk about lighting and location. Okay, so first we're going to talk about location. And you can really choose anywhere. The beach is a beautiful spot. The mountains are really nice. An urban location with one of those beautiful like mural painted walls. There's cute little small towns, a lot of different things you can think of. Or you can just do your backyard or a typical field with a few trees by your house. One thing to keep in mind is that if you do choose a location, like having a beautiful like painted mural as the background, or a small town, or even mountains with like a lot of trees in the back, or just a cliff, you want to be careful because a lot of times if it's a beautiful background, it can kind of compete with your dog. Whereas if you pick a more basic background location like the beach or just an open field, or even your backyard, depending what your backyard looks like, your dog will stand out more because the background is a little bit more muted, and more focus will be on your dog. One thing to keep in mind when you're picking your location is you need something to block the sunlight. I know that sounds counteractive because you want obviously good lighting for your picture, but a lot of times, especially if you're shooting with your phone, it can create a hazy look. Cameras can prevent that because there's a lot of settings that you can do to make sure that doesn't happen necessarily, Phones are a little bit more challenging. I'm sure you've seen it. You're taking a picture in the middle of the afternoon, it's really sunny, and it creates that like white foggy haze look. Not ideal. You can't see your picture very well, so you definitely want to have something in your location, excuse me, that blocks the light or filters the light. So that could be architecture, a barn, some type of building, and you will shoot in the shadow that casts. The lighting from the rest of the location, or the surrounding lighting, will still light your subject, light your dog, but that will prevent that really harsh kind of shadowy, as I was explaining before, that hazy look. That'll prevent that. Or my favorite, the shadow option is definitely an option, but my favorite is to use trees, because unlike a shadow, trees still allow some sun to come through, so it's more of a filtered look. If you can tell in these pictures up here, you probably can't see too well, but I'm gonna post some examples for you to see. But the lighting or the sunlight was coming through the trees, so it lit up the trees and made everything beautiful, but it wasn't super harsh, so it created a softer kind of glowy effect. So it's definitely something you want to look for. I'm going to mention this later when we talk about lighting, but I would not pick the middle of the woods. Yes, all the trees, you would think, yeah, well, they're going to filter the sun. They will, but you're going to be in a dark location. There's going to be no open area to allow light to light up the front of your dog. So that's something you want to keep in mind. I would stay away from the middle of the woods, but either have a line of trees behind you in a field. Even one tree can block enough light if it's a really full tree with a lot of leaves. But yes, that is something to keep in mind. You definitely want to have some type of building, architecture, or a tree to diffuse the light from being too harsh on your dog. And lastly, you really want to make sure there's no trash cans in the back, no people. Even a lot of times I notice, I make sure to watch out for it now, but before I wasn't noticing all the colorful benches in the back because it was a park and I wasn't noticing, they weren't out of place to me, but they definitely stood out in the pictures. And with a professional photographer, I could Photoshop them out, but I don't want you guys to have to do that. It's work that you don't need to do, and I just want you to prevent that from happening so it's less work for you. So just look around, make sure there's no trash in the background, no people. Also, your supplies. I usually have a backpack with me because I carry like a 40-foot long line for my dog to let him run and play, and then I have water, and well, now I have a towel because last time we were sitting on a bank of a little creek and I got poison ivy all over the back of my legs, so I have a towel. So sometimes my stuff will be in the pictures too, so you don't want that, because then that's even more annoying. You're like, that was my stuff, you know? You could have prevented that. So just watch out for trash, anything like that in the background. You want it to be nice and clean, so the focus is on your dog. Okay, so now we are going to talk about lighting. This kind of goes hand in hand with location, which you will see in a second. But again, if you guys have any questions with this, because it can get a little bit complicated, you can ask in the Facebook group and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Okay, so with lighting, first things first is you are going to want to shoot either an hour and a half after sunrise or about an hour and a half before sunset. You can push it to 2 hours, but those are ideal. Sunrise, you get a little bit more pastel look, which I really love. It's beautiful. Sunrise is also really good if you're going to go to a park and your dog's a little bit more reactive. Obviously, there's less people out early in the morning than there is in the evening, and it depends on if the week is hot or not. Mornings can be a little bit cooler than in the evening. So that's something to keep in mind. Again, especially if your dog is reactive, there's not going to be many people around, so it might be a little bit easier for you to work with. And the reason why you want to shoot at these times is because in the middle of the afternoon, like it is right now, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, so if I were to take pictures outside right now, there would be like harsh shadows on my dog and the lighting wouldn't be ideal. You can get away with it a little bit more with a dog. Humans, definitely you cannot. Harsh lighting is not ideal on a human face because we tend to be a little bit more unflattering than dogs are in pictures. So that's just the way it is. But the only time that you can get away, because I understand people's schedules are a little challenging, but the only time you can really get away with shooting in the afternoon, maybe on your lunch break or something, is if it is an overcast or cloudy day. Because like I was stating, with the trees or the building kind of filtering the sun, The clouds will do that for you. So actually cloudy days, overcast days tend to be a lot easier for taking pictures, especially with a phone, because you have beautiful filtered light all over the place. You can shoot anywhere because the clouds are filtering the sun no matter where you're going. I'm sure you've seen in a photography studio, they have big lights, but they have filters in front of them. Kind of looks like tissue paper. It's not, obviously, because it would catch fire, but it's thin paper that you can see through, or material, because it diffuses the light. So instead of it being harsh, like harsh coming right down on the dog's face, creating circles, it makes the light spread out so it covers more of the dog and it gives it more of a flattering look. So shoot either in the 2 hours or hour and a half before sunrise or sunset, an hour and a half after sunrise, or you can shoot any time of the day if it's overcast. So that is something to keep in mind, just depending on your schedule. Okay, so now we're going to talk about positioning when it comes to lighting. This part's a little bit more complicated, so I'll try to explain it as easy as I can. So there's two options. You can either do backlighting or front lighting, and they are pretty self-explanatory. Backlighting, the dog is getting lit up from the back, or front lighting, the dog is getting lit up from the front. Now we're going to talk about backlighting first. It's what I tend to do more often. It creates that beautiful kind of glowy halo effect on your dog. This is ideal if your dog has long hair. It's beautiful if your dog has long hair. So since the sun will be coming from behind the dog, filtered through a tree, it'll highlight the little hairs on your dog, like right outside, especially on the feathers on the ears. And it's so beautiful. So it'll light it up and it'll just make them glow, kind of look like they have a halo. I absolutely love it. It's beautiful. It's very soft, glowy, kind of storybook look, which I really like. So in order to achieve that, I'm going to try to explain it step by step. You will also see, I try to explain it out in the field when I'm out there, and I'm going to show those videos as well. So I'm going to explain it this way. So what you're going to want to have, and again, this goes into location like I explained before, which is why you want an open area as well that's that's lit up by the sun, so it reflects back on your dog. But I will explain that in a second, so don't worry, I know it can get a little complicated. So, okay, the sun is here. Hopefully you can see that. The sun is here. Here's your tree. The sun is shining through the tree, diffusing the light. Your dog is here, and you are right here. So you are facing your dog, and the sun is coming from behind the dog. So it's lighting up all those feathers on the back of their head, creating that nice, beautiful, glowy halo effect. And you are right here, taking a picture of your dog. Now again, like I mentioned with location, you want to make sure that there is some open space here that is being lit up by the light, because that will reflect back on your dog's face, lighting up the front of your dog. Again, if you did this in the woods, it is still possible, but your dog will be facing shadows, so there's not going to be light to be reflected back on the front of your dog. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, you'll see it more visually in the video where I'm actually demonstrating it for you visual learners, because I'm a visual learner myself, so hopefully that is helpful. But again, that is backlighting. Okay, so now for front lighting, this is actually a lot easier. I don't think it's as flattering, but I do definitely still like these photos. So again, pick your poison, whatever works best for you. It's not poison, I don't know why I said that, but pick whatever one works best for you, and whatever lighting or location you choose. The lighting kind of goes hand in hand with that. So for front lighting, obviously the light will be coming from in front of your dog. You don't have to worry about any filtering of the sun. You're just definitely going to want to make sure that you shoot in the morning or evening with this, because you won't want to shoot in the harsh afternoon light and have them face the sun, while the sun will be above them, so just creates shadows and very unflattering look. So you are going to want to have your dog face the sun, and so the sun is here, okay, let me start that over. I'm gonna go back here like I was before to match it up perfectly. So the sun is right here. You are gonna be right here, and your dog's gonna be right here. So your dog is gonna be facing the sun. You don't have to worry about any filtering of trees, filtering the sun. Like I said, do not have to worry about that. The only thing you do have to think about is because your back is facing the sun, you might cause a shadow to go on your dog. So you definitely want to watch out for that. You don't want like the top of your head shadow to come here on your dog and have this all be in shadow and then sun the top of your dog. So definitely be aware of your shadow. Sometimes you can elevate your dog a little bit to make sure that he's not in your shadow. Sometimes you can set your dog on a park bench. That's when you can use a park bench to your advantage, not have it off in the background, but actually have your dog sit on it. A picnic table, again, be safe. If your dog doesn't want to be up there or is scared, do not put them up there, only if they're used to it and okay with it. So that is front lighting. And the other thing I wanted to mention is if you have a dog with black fur, this is very, very helpful. A lot of times black, even with clothes, that's why I don't recommend people wearing black now, but don't wear a full black outfit for a family photo shoot, because it just soaks all the light in. It just takes everything away. It just soaks everything in. It absorbs it. So with their fur, sometimes they can just look really dull because it just soaks up all the lighting. So for black dogs, I do advise that you do front lighting, because especially if they have like silkier fur, which they normally do, it'll kind of put a nice shine on their face and it just makes their coat look really silky and shiny. So I definitely advise front lighting for black dogs, or if you just want a little bit of a harsher, more vibrant look, backlighting is the way to go. Okay, so when you found a location that you like, once you're here, this is one of my favorite spots. And I really like this location because, as you can see, you want a sunny location, but you don't want straight sun right in the picture, because it'll create kind of a hazy look and your pictures will not be sharp, the color will be dull because the sun will be blocking some of the dullness and the strong color from your picture. So in this case, you can come over this way, you can see a little better. From my angle, and even if I'm down low, the sun, I can still see the beautiful sunlight coming through, and it will backlight your dog. So the back of him, if he's sitting over here, you can see the light is coming right behind him, and it's kind of putting a little glow around him. If your dog has longer hair, that'll be really beautiful. It'll look like kind of a halo effect. But, so you want the trees to be filtering the sunlight. And you also want to make sure that behind you is pretty open space. You don't necessarily want to be in the woods, because it makes for a darker picture. It's a little bit harder to control, especially if you're shooting with your phone. So I have the sun being filtered by the leaves and the trees, and then I have a big open field behind me. Mike, you can kind of pan around and show what it looks like behind if you want. Just like that. So you turn back around. So that has a lot of the sunlight coming from here will light up the front of him, but the harsh sun that you don't want will be blocked by the leaves, so it creates a really glowy look. Now there's another option that if you want, if you can't find a tree like this or something to block the sun, we can go here. We can have him go right in the sun. So if he sits this way, legs up, this way. Yes, good boy. I will be here, and I'll be down low on the ground. That's in the next video. And the sun is coming right to him. Now this creates definitely a harsher look, harsher shadows, which is okay on dogs. Humans, you do not want that, but dogs it's okay. But you do have to be careful. You want to make sure, like I said earlier, that you're here either a little bit after sunrise or about 2 hours before sunset, which is what we are right now. The sun's a little lower, it's more flattering on the dog's face. But just so you know, this is definitely a harsher look. The other one's more soft. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for. But yeah, whatever floats your boat, you can choose both, and they're really, really nice. And that is pretty much what you need to know for lighting and location. So once you find the right location, you want to find a spot that works best for the lighting situation that you would like. And then what you're going to do when you have everything ready and you found the right place, you're going to want to use what you learned from last week. So again, have your treats ready, noisemakers, all of that, and you're gonna want them to try to look at you, make a funny head tilt. Yeah, just do exactly what you did last week. You're pros at it now, you already got it done. So just repeat that this week. And yes, that is it. Let me think if there's anything else. Oh, always, again, make sure to reward your dog after every picture. It will train them to not be scared of when your camera or phone comes out. It's just good to train your dog, get them to listen to you more, and you always want to reward them for doing the right thing. So that is it. If you have any questions at all, again, feel free to comment on the Facebook group. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And have fun with it again. I know sometimes lighting can be a little bit frustrating. Believe me, trying to plan certain photo shoots and things when you're dealing with rain and lighting situations, it's very challenging. So give yourself grace, give your dog grace. You got this. I'm really excited to see your pictures. I'm excited to give away gifts and prizes and things. So yeah, have a lot of fun with it. And that is it. And I will see you next week. Bye.
Okay, so I drop it right away. Hold the treat right above your camera. Oh, someone's coming up the steps. Ragnar, come here. Sit. Yes, good boy. We're gonna wait. Hey, look. Good boy. Now, Ragnar, sit. Okay. I probably should cut that part out. Okay, so for lighting, when you're out at your place, you want to take pictures at a place that you're looking.
Are you okay?